Hello and welcome to the Loudspeaker, your definitive guide on how to scale your startup.
This first tip for every fintech startup is
what are the media and press saying about us? How are we being perceived by these people?
PR stunts are any activities that allow you to engage with the audience.
I don't agree with the fact that all publicity is good publicity.
Here is where we talk to communications professionals from all around the world to let you know what are the best practices and cool ideas that you can implement for your startups.
Would you be able to tell us what does LSPARK do and what's your role at the company?
So first and foremost, my name is Stef Reid and I'm the Senior Marketing Manager at LSPARK. So that means I'm responsible for leading our marketing team. And I joined the company a year ago this June. At its highest level, LSPARK is a startup accelerator. So we consider ourselves the destination for Canada's startup and tech ecosystem to succeed and scale. And we do so by helping founders realize their vision, by helping them build high growth companies. And we do this through 4 accelerator programs. Our primary program is our SaaS accelerator, and that program challenges startup founders to think about how to perfect product market fit, define sales channels, grow revenue, build out their team, etc. Our team helps them get pitch ready and helps introduce them to potential angel investors and VCs with the goal of raising funds. Our newest program is in partnership with Queen's University out of Kingston, Ontario, which is called Compass North, and is a 5-month accelerator program designed for women entrepreneurs in the Kingston area. On top of those 2 programs, we actually also run 2 corporate accelerator programs. The first is our BlackBerry LSPARK accelerator, which works with startups who are developing next generation applications focused on vehicle connected services and cloud connectivity to the vehicle. And the second is our Secure IoT accelerator, which is in partnership with BlackBerry, TELUS, and Solace. And that supports companies in developing innovative IoT products and services aligned with the emerging global standards for IoT security. So for this program, as I mentioned, we joined up with a fantastic group of strategic partners, TELUS, BlackBerry, Solace, and we're actually moving into our second cohort this year, and we'll also be bringing on board Sierra as part of that strategic partnership group. Through all of these programs, we provide tactical and strategic support, relevant workshops, and advice from a dedicated mentor who joins the startups team 1 day per week. So we're running weekly ops meetings with members from our team, which helps the founder test their assumptions, brainstorm options, and then prepare them for customer and investor meetings. So, I mean, it's safe to say that we're dipping our toes in many different pools, and it's been super fun being on the marketing team and, you know, flexing that marketing muscle for very niche markets such as secure IoT and autonomous vehicle, and then as well as being involved in the SaaS market as well.
Yeah, it definitely sounds like you're keeping busy. You got a lot on your plate there. And it's funny how you mentioned the dipping toes in many pools, because immediately the first thing that came to mind was fingers in many pies. So it's 2 like expressions there which mean the same thing, I guess. 1 fingers, 1 toes. But yeah, for sure, busy nonetheless. I'd be interested to know, with so much going on, like that must equate to a lot of like marketing and PR work. But I'd be really interested to know, like, why did LSPARK first think about PR as a solution? And was it for something in particular or something specific?
So at the core, LSPARK's success is based on the success of the startups who come through our programs. So with that said, it is a priority for us to amplify their successes and be their biggest champions. We have been fortunate to be a part of an extremely supportive community here in Ottawa and the surrounding area. The startup and tech ecosystem is incredible for rallying around the success of all of the initiatives we run, helping us to amplify news, announcements, etc. But we turn to PR to help expand that reach. So by working with Publicize, we have been able to not only expand the reach of our success, but the success of our startup founders and the innovative products that they are building beyond the Ottawa market.
Nice. And Publicize aside and LSPARK aside, in your opinion, how important is PR for business success, do you think?
I think that opportunities that PR presents can be far-reaching depending on how you leverage it. So traditionally, I always thought of PR as being news or announcements, but through working, I know you said not to mention Publicize, but through working
Go ahead.
guys, I have seen firsthand how many ways you can actually get creative with PR and use it to really position your company and its team in certain lights. So this means, complementing traditional PR with special pitches, which results in articles in niche publications, etc. And the connections that Publicize has in these niche areas has really helped us reach very specific audiences, which we wouldn't have been able to do otherwise. So back to your original question, I'd say, it's very important, especially when you're working in very specific areas and trying to reach very specific audiences.
If you're interested in seeing how Publicize can grow your startup, sign up for a free PR assessment on our website. And for a limited time only and exclusive to the Loudspeaker listeners, we're giving subscribers a month free on a 12-month Publicize contract. To find out more, visit publicize.co/LSpromo. That's publicize.co/LSPROMO.
I'd be interested to know, you mentioned like some examples there, like in a general sense, but would you be able to go into perhaps some more detailed examples of how LSPARK has most benefited from PR?
So I think one of the key takeaways for us has been the ability to use PR to position ourselves as subject matter experts in these niche industries. So here at LSPARK, as I mentioned, we run 2 corporate accelerator programs, the Secure IoT Accelerator and the BlackBerry LSPARK Autonomous Vehicle Accelerator. And it's important for us to speak about these topics to help get in front of appropriate parties in order to recruit high caliber companies in these areas. So most recently, we have worked with Publicize to launch a handful of special pitches, which have resulted in articles in niche publications, niche IoT publications from our executive managing director. And we've seen some really great traction here. Aside from special pitches and being able to access sort of these niche publications, as I mentioned, I think working with Publicize has really helped us to get that media exposure that we're looking for some of our larger announcements. Typically, we'll use PR when we partner with these corporates to launch the corporate accelerator programs. So for example, when we first came out with our BlackBerry LSPARK Autonomous Vehicle Accelerator, Publicize was really able to help us, refine the press release and then distribute that to media across the country and beyond. And, if it was just me doing it myself, I obviously wouldn't be able to get as far of a reach. So we've really benefited from the connections that Publicize has. And we were able to get some great traction in some high caliber publications that way. And that whole process has been rinsed and repeated for a number of different announcements that we've come out with, whether it's, the launch of a new program, introducing our new cohort of startups to the world. And as I mentioned previously, a huge priority for us is getting our startup founders that exposure that they deserve. And so by crafting these announcements that share with the world the new startups that we're working with, it gives them that initial boost as well for their business and puts them on people's radar, which I think is incredibly valuable for the startup founder.
Yeah, and I have to say that when Jacob first put me in touch with you guys, I know LSPARK's been with Publicize for a while now. How long have Publicize and LSPARK worked together? I'm not sure myself, but I definitely know that I've been seeing their name pop up for a long time at least.
Sure, it's been at least 2 or 3 years. Like I said, I've been with LSPARK for only a year, and we've used Publicize since I started. But I know that they were implemented. I think it was I'd say probably about 3 years, but don't quote me on that.
That makes sense because I joined Publicize roughly 3 years ago. I got to say, I remember when, I was teamed up with LSPARK to have this conversation. I was like, oh, that'd be nice. I'm certain that'd be a friendly conversation given the amount of time we've spent together.
And, I think most recently, one of the great projects that we've worked on with Jacob and his team has been crafting special pitches specifically for groups of startup founders. For example, like in light of recent global events with the pandemic that we're dealing with, a handful of our companies have actually pivoted and adapted their business to navigate that. There's a wide variety of different things that they're doing that are all wonderful in their own ways. And we've taken this opportunity in our relationship with Publicize to help amplify the initiatives that they're working on. So Jacob has helped us craft a special pitch to, get articles in publications such as Beta Kit, where our founders are really put in the forefront and we're shining a light on them.
Yeah, and you're definitely in good hands with Jacob. I gotta say, he's he's a good friend of mine, and he knows what he's doing. And I think he's, as far as I can remember, he's one of the longest running account managers I've seen, like since I've started. You got a good account manager there.
Yeah, he's great.
My last question to you: if you could start over again with Publicize right now, what advice would you tell yourself from your first day?
So I'm in an interesting position because when I started with LSPARK, I was in a position where I held a more passive role when it came to our PR efforts. So most recently, I've taken on the role of leading the marketing team. So I've been given the opportunity to be more in the weeds when it comes to our PR strategy. Which means I have the pleasure of working closely with Jacob and his team to really double down on the special pitch strategy that I've been referring to and move away from our more traditional approach of basic PRs that simply amplify news. So while that's obviously very important, we have really felt great success with this new direction. And I look forward to continuing it in the future. I think, as I mentioned previously, we're getting a ton of great traction in these, niche areas and positioning ourselves as subject matter experts, which is invaluable moving forward with these corporate accelerator programs.
Well, let's hope, and let's hope here's to many more years working together, Publicize and LSPARK.
Yeah, absolutely. And, I guess to wrap that up, what advice would you tell yourself? It would be to really ask questions and challenge ideas in order to get more creative with your PR strategy overall. When I moved into this new role, I really asked myself the question, how do we improve what we're currently doing? When you're constantly trying to challenge your own successes, I think that's when the magic really happens. So, I credit Jacob and his team to helping me challenge the status quo. And again, this new, more creative approach, moving down the special pitch road, we'll call it, has been really great and fun. So
awesome. Yeah, I think that's something that I've seen come up repeatedly with clients when I've asked that question. It's like ask more questions or be more engaged or be more creative. And it seems like some people in the past have said they might have seen Publicize as like a separate entity when really it's like an addition to the team, or like it's an additional support that work together and they're kind of interlaced with the overall PR strategy of whatever company they're working with.
Yeah, absolutely. We've had some really great brainstorm sessions with the team, and you come up with a lot of great ideas when you're collaborating. So it's been great to have experts in the PR space help with those brainstorm efforts.
Super. Excellent. And Stef, if people do want to get in touch with LSPARK or learn more about LSPARK, how can they do that?
Absolutely. So we're very active on social media, specifically Twitter at LSPARK Global, as well as LinkedIn and Instagram. But I would encourage anyone who's interested in learning more about our programs to visit our website, l-spark.com.
Fantastic. Thank you so much today, Stef.
Thank you.